speaking of the rupee, the worst performing currency in Asia, down about, 13% versus the USD. Do you see it tumbling even more?
No, I don't think that it will tumble more. The issue is about how the oil prices behave. And of course, on the one day we cannot determine, but yesterday the prices came down significantly. So what is putting pressure on the Indian rupee is the current account deficit. And India's current account deficit, the energy prices play a very critical role. And once we see some stability around the oil prices, we will see more stability around the rupee also. And there are many measures which government has also initiated to contain the current account deficit. And a few more measures are in the offing. That is the sense and the indication I'm getting.
Do you think the central bank can prop up the Indian rupee? We saw how the RBI stood pat. It didn't raise rates as expected, disappointing the market.
No, but the rates or the monetary policy to stabilize the rupee. So in central bank's view, probably that measure would not have helped much. But the central bank, they do intervene in various manners to stabilize the currency. And I am sure that they are doing the same. And just raising the interest rate by 25 basis point, whether that would have stabilized the rupee or given any boost to the currency, that is where the debate is around and where the central bank probably felt that that would not help as far as the value of the rupee is concerned.
The other issue in India, of course, is the non-bank financial crisis. Do you see further cracks emerging, apart from what we've seen from IL&FS?
So IL&FS, because they were in infrastructure financing, and the banks and the NBFCs or anyone who is financing the infrastructure, they are having issues. But IL&FS, in my view, is an exception. The other NBFCs, one, there are many quality NBFCs where the ownership is very good and the asset quality is good. One or two NBFCs where there is an issue around their ALM and where the dependence on the short-term funding has been there. So that is where we need to watch out. And that is where the banks, like State Bank of India, they can help, and they can help in purchasing their portfolio. And if that happens and the dependence on the short-term paper reduces, then there should not be much concern. The underlying assets continue to be good, in my view.
How much deeper will it get before it gets better? Because today, just the headlines coming out, IL&FS unable to service obligations on its debt due October 11th. So there's some ways yet.
Yeah, IL&FS, we know that there are repayments due, and the new board has taken over, and they are taking measures to sell the assets. That is what is planned, and what will need also to be determined that between the assets and liability how much gap is there. And once that is determined, then what the course correction is needed, that will be determined. But yes, as of now, they are unable to meet their commitment.
Is there a time frame you're looking at before the asset quality issues can be addressed in India? How soon can that happen? Is there a time frame?
So as far as asset quality issues are concerned in India, the recognition part or the assets which are under stress or are under NPA, so the most of it has been done in March 18, and after that the accretion to NPAs, there is a slowdown, and this is what we saw in the June quarter results of most of the banks. And going forward also for this quarter, when the results come out, there will be a clear trend about the declining NPAs. The provision coverage ratio requires some more improvement. It has also improved in last 1 year quite considerably. And so the turnaround is happening, in my view.
Do you see greater difficulties for consumers to access funding given the tighter regulations, tighter rules on non-banks now?
There will be a rebalancing of the portfolios. Last 2-3 years, the non-banking finance companies, they have grown very fast, and their growth has been in excess of 20%, whereas the banks, commercial banks and more so in the public sector, because of the NPA issue, the capital constraint, 11 banks are under prompt corrective action of the regulators. So the growth as far as the public sector banks are concerned, that was very muted. And what now can happen, that the banks will be growing faster, but as far as the credit needs of the economy are concerned, I don't see that there is any big issue there.
Rajnish, finally, do you see the implications on Prime Minister Modi's, I guess, ambition to grow the economy further, create more jobs? Would that be a hindrance to all his plans?
No, why should it be? Because as far as the job growths are concerned or is concerned, there are two things which are going on the right track in my view. The government is spending on the infrastructure and the construction, which has the potential of create many more jobs. And the consumer confidence and the consumption, that is on track. And if the economy is growing at 7.4 or 7.3 or 7.5%, and the sectors which employ people, particularly the infrastructure or construction sector, then we can see the growth. And many sectors are doing quite well. Of course, the new technologies are emerging. So there is a job growth in the IT sector also. So I think the country seems to be on track despite the difficulties which are coming more from the external front rather than the domestic front.